What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Darren Walker live right now. It's actually June 30th. It's one of my favorite times because I love understanding and knowing what time of the year it is, what's going on with goals. It's the last day of the second. You know what I'm about to say right now. I just blanked. Time of the year before we get to the new half year, and then September 30th will be the third part of the year until we go into the 4 quarters. There it is. It's the end of the second quarter, and then the third quarter will come up. And so we're doing this podcast right now, the Darren Walker podcast, sponsored by BeICONIC Conversations, where we help people earn income by being themselves for a living, where they can impact other people through their calling, through their story, and through their witness. I'm super excited to be on here because in just a little bit, I'm going to be bringing up a really cool special guest that I've been able to meet through the online world. Her name is Amber Figlow. Very, very cool, very smart, and just a cool person that I think you guys are going to get a lot of value from. And we are going to bring her on and have some great conversations. But before we do that, I want to just tune in with you guys. Thank you guys for being here right now. We're live on Instagram as well as we are live. Instagram, what's up? I see you. We're live on Facebook as well as we are live on YouTube. And, you know, I actually kind of want to do a small exercise with you guys to help you gain some clarity right now, which I don't think a lot of people are doing right now to get to their goals to the next level. So I'm going to bring up an actual calculator and just kind of ask you guys some questions to help us grow here. And it's with time. So if the second quarter ends today, okay, it's June 30th. And I have this Bible app that I look at every day. And I go in there and I use it. And in the Bible app, what it also does is it kind of reminds me how many days I've been going through the year and what's been going on a high level. And so we have lived 178 days in 2025. So I'm going to just start there. We've lived 178 days in 2025 so far. So the first question I'm just going to ask you really quickly is, how are you doing with your first 178 days? If you were to quantify how you're doing, are you doing really well? Are you really excited? What are the areas that you can work on? There's 178 days left. We lived 178 days. Well, first of all, let's just stop for a second and just think about that. My mind is blown. Can you believe that it's halfway through 2025? Didn't we just say Happy New Year? Like, we just said that. We just said that. It was Happy New Year. We ran out of the gates. We were so excited. We were so fired up. And now all of a sudden, the new year is, over, and we call it in our community, the new half year is upon us. Then it's about to be the 4th of July. If you're in the Western Hemisphere, everyone's going to celebrate. I got 4 babies. If you're anywhere near Riverview, Florida, please stop the fireworks at 10 o'clock before midnight. My kids are sleeping. Do what you're going to do. Have fun. It's all good. Amber and I were just kind of laughing and joking about that. But seriously, after the 4th of July, pray you have a safe and fun weekend. After that, though, what do your goals look like going into the third quarter? Well, let's do this really quickly. I want to share my screen with you and ask you this question here. Let's look at this, okay? So when I look at this right now, and I'm looking at this calculator here, it says that we're from basically September 30th will be the end of the third quarter. That gives us 3 months, 13 weeks, 92 days, 2,208 hours, 132,480 minutes, and 7,948,800 seconds. It's like, whoa, dude, what's up with the numbers? I promise I'm not always like that with numbers until it either makes me money, helps me hit my goals, and I just like clarity. The number that I want to focus on, though, when we're looking at this, what I want us to focus on is the hours, okay? And so when we're looking at this picture here, I want to focus more so on the hours here because it just helps my mind. So 2,208 hours. Okay, I'm going to stop this here soon, but just track with me for anybody that's on here right now. If there are 2,208 hours from now to the end of the third quarter, well, if there were 178 days that we lived so far, God willing, from right now to the end of the third quarter, we get another 92 days. So if you're on here and you don't have a strategy, you haven't had a system, you're not plugging into community, you're not actually having a plan. Most people fail because they don't have a plan. People that don't have fail mostly because they don't have a plan. So if you don't have a plan, what's your plan now? What would you like the next 2 days to look like pertaining to your goals and your dream? One last thing I'm going to do here. If today is the 30th of June, I'm going to go to 6/30/2026, a year from today. A year from today is 1 year, 12 months, 52 weeks, 365 days. But most people don't know this. Did you know that that's 8,760 hours in a year? That's 8,760 hours in a year. Most people have no idea how many hours they live in a year. The reason why, as an entrepreneur, I'm really, really focused on that. Well, one, I got 4 babies. My son is 7, and he keeps telling me, Dad, I'm going to be 14 in another 7 years. I'm like, slow down, dude. Okay, get out of here. I don't want to hear that, but he's true. 7 more summers and my son will be 14. If you're a parent, you get it. However, if you're just a business owner or somebody that's on here that wants to grow their business, time matters. So no, I'm not asking you to be some like crazy next level entrepreneur that you have to have everything all together. In fact, what I'm having a conversation with, what we're going to talk to you about today is the practical, tangible steps, step-by-steps to get yourself started. And if you're already a 6-figure earner, if you're already somebody that is growing their business, if you're already someone that is having success on a certain level, that is absolutely amazing. I'm excited for you. I'm fired up about it. We want to help you. But what are those steps? How do you have the success that you truly want? Whether you are a podcaster, an entrepreneur, whatever it is, we are actually going to be promoting here today as well a mastermind coming up. Actually, let me tell you about that here for a quick second, because we're going to be really excited about that. We're promoting an event that we will be doing here in the next at July 21st and 22nd, where we'll be teaching people how to turn their iconic, unique story into 6 and 7 figures. And when we do that, we're going to be helping people grow. We're going to be helping people change their lives, and we're going to be helping people win at a high level. So we'll drop that link today to help you register for that. But I want to get our special guest speaker on. Okay, so we want to welcome you to the BeICONIC Conversations podcast. I want you to remember, though, and I'm asking you this question seriously, how are you doing right now with the 178 days you lived? And what are you going to do with the next 2,208 or 2,204 hours? We're going to give you some steps on how to fill the next 92 days with things that help you get to the next level. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring on my special guest speaker, Amber Figlow. She is a CEO, used to work in corporate world, has transitioned into the online world. And I'm gonna just tell you, I like this young woman. She's got a lot of great character. I love that she's herself. She, of course, does really, really well in business, but her heart is pure. She's super sweet, and she's really, really smart, and she knows what she's talking about. And we've partnered that she's going to be sharing a video on the back end on our 2-day event. So she'll be sharing it to her community as well. She's a woman of integrity, and she's just really, really, really cool. So ladies and gentlemen, in the chats, I see a lot of you on Instagram and some of you on Facebook as well. Help me welcome to the screen right now, Amber Figlow. Amber, can you see me?
I can. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. Did you see me like completely forget how to say second quarter there for a second? That was fun.
Listen, we all blank on those words that I feel like we use every day, never come to us when we need them. I totally
Absolutely.
get it.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I teach and talk about that stuff all the time, but I love it. This is not about being perfect. It's about keeping going. Amber, we got people tuning in right now from Uganda. I see on here, we got people tuning in all over the world to meet you today. And we've got some big things coming up here in July. So we want to start here on BeICONIC Conversations. We help people earn income by being themselves for a living through their story, through their giftings, and through their testimony, their witness. We help them package that, put it in the online space in an authentic, legit place where they can also earn income through their products, through their courses, through their masterminds, their social media presence. And you've been able to do that on a high level. But before we get into that, I want to get to know a little bit about who you are so people can get to know you and why they should come to our event and why they should get to know us. So, Amber Figlow, who is Amber Figlow?
Yes. So I know we're going to take it back. So I am actually a Florida native. I've lived in this hot state for my entire life. I haven't really left, bounced around the state quite a bit. But I'm actually the oldest of 5, very blended family. And honestly, it's one of those things when you come from such a big, large blended family, and I'm the oldest, I have learned a lot of things that I take in business from helping out with my siblings and kind of being raised in that environment. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of set me up for really good for entrepreneurship. But just to say all of that, taking it all the way back to who I am the person that I grew up with not the most amount of money, kind of came from some hardship and things like that. So my biggest thing, even since I was a little kid, I always found ways to work. I had the lemonade stand. I would sell jewelry. I did every extracurricular activity you can think of because I knew that I was going to be successful no matter what. So I filled my days down to the second and the minute they were planned. I was always doing something to push myself forward. And that has followed me through the rest of my life. It involved me being, I graduated, I think, number 12 in my high school, graduated college early, did every extracurricular activity, and then started my journey into corporate America. And it was all these things along the way. I was like just trying to hit another success point. And what I ultimately found, the ultimate success for me was actually going off and doing my own thing. Instead of building other people's dreams, I was ready to build my own. And that's what led me to entrepreneurship. So that's a roundabout way of who I am.
I love it. Okay. I love that. So like, give me a little, I want to kind of ask you a little bit more, like in your upbringing, how many siblings do you have?
So 5. There's 5 of us total.
Okay. Girls, boys?
Yeah. So there's 3 girls, 2 boys.
Okay. And where are you in that? Oldest, youngest, middle?
Yep. I'm oldest, with the youngest one being almost 10 years younger than me. So I've changed some diapers as a kid.
So you've been in the mix.
Yes.
And so being the oldest of 5, and growing up, in, not having as much, because I want to get to the point where we realize what's gotten you to the point where you're able to have success in the entrepreneur world. I'm sure your audience knows how good you are at what you do, but maybe they don't know the back and where that came from. And the reason why I asked you that question is because there's a lot of people on here right now that maybe aren't where they want to be as an entrepreneur and also think they have to do it like everyone else. But we here in the community teach people how they're able to have success through their giftings and through their stories. So what would you say about your upbringing truthfully made you excel in what you do now today?
Yes. So that's a really good question. And I always bring it back to this element of I'm always finding the best hack for things. And that came from when I was a kid, when we didn't have much. I always made the most of what I have. And if I didn't have it, I'd find a way to go get it. So that has what I think propelled me into success with entrepreneurship. If I didn't have money for the new technology or the new camera or this, I would hack my way into figuring out a solution so that I could then go make money, so that I could then get the next best thing, or try and work my way through problems and strategy, this, that, and the other, because I came from an area of I didn't have much to work with. So I know how to work with what I've got. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned. And then also sharing resources. So again, when you come from a family of 5 kids, you really have to learn how to share a lot of different things. And I think that's one of the things that has led me into success with business. I'm the kind of person, I'm an open book. You can pick my brain. I will give away as much knowledge and I will share resources with people as much as I can, because that's just kind of how I was brought up, how I was raised. And I know that by giving you the information, by helping you out, it only lifts us all up. Those are the two big things.
I love that so much. So now moving forward a little bit to the corporate world. So you went to high school, college, did all those things?
Yes. Yep. So did high school kind of right around the big recession in 2008. So I graduated right after that. Immediately went into college and watched a lot of my friends not be able to get jobs. So the big thing was I was actually a pre-med major. I was like,
Really?
I'm going to go into I was like, I'm going to go into medicine. And then I had to take chemistry, and I said, I'm not going to do medicine because that's another 6 years of
Ah,
chemistry.
yeah.
So I actually switched to a business degree, and ended up actually graduating an entire year in advance. I was just like excelling through the program, that kind of thing. And I started my corporate career right out of high school or right out of college. I was 20 years old. So I was a little baby in corporate America. It was an insane time.
Wow. So, you know, you're smart.
I try to be and resourceful. I would say resourceful. I don't get me wrong. I do think I'm intelligent, but I think the resourcefulness really also helps.
This is a really, really humble way of saying that you're smart. That's
I
cool.
appreciate it.
That's cool. Hey, there's different types of smart. I'd be definitely more of a street smarts kind of.
Yeah.
I was working in a hospital with 13 to 17 or mental health, and I actually got a B in anatomy and physiology. I was going to go be a male nurse, and then I was just like, I'm not taking any more of these classes. This is not going to work out.
They're tough classes. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah.
They are tough. Okay, so your passion in corporate America, did you love it? Were you just doing it? What made you do that? It was just the next step?
Yeah, for me, it was the next step because ultimately, a lot of people in my family, I didn't have entrepreneurs around me. A lot of my family kind of worked those blue collar jobs or trade jobs. I didn't really have a foundation for what corporate looked like. And it was always one of those things that the picture that was painted for me is that that's where you find success. So that's where I thought success would be. You go to college, you get the degree, you go to corporate. And I got into corporate and I was like, this is not what people told me it was going to be. It was a little bit of a shock. Just learning the different nuances of corporate. And it eventually I got to my breaking point that I'm like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I knew there was something bigger for me. But yeah, I truly just thought it was the next best step. Like I was following the instructions given to me by society, family, people around me, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just feel like, a lot of people have that kind of thing. I call it cultural societal hypnotism. Everyone's kind of doing the same thing. And then you realize that doesn't fit. The 3 Ds that we teach in our community is we're called to desire, develop, and deploy. So I want to ask you, what did you desire more when you realized corporate world wasn't going to do it for you? What and how did you develop, and what have you deployed now to be able to walk in what you're called to do?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that was very difficult about corporate, I can give you 10 ideas starting today to fix things or change things. I have that creative bone in my body, and being told that I need to have Brad from legal approve it. And we have to wait 6 weeks to get this person to check off on it. And I was like, I could fix things right now, or I could implement something right now, and it will take me 20 minutes. Why do I have to go through all these checks and balances? Like, I understand a little bit of that in corporate, but they're like, by the time we get to implement it, especially in marketing, I'm like, it doesn't matter anymore. So that was number one. Number two, there's a lot of, I'm sure if you come from a corporate background, anybody listening, there's a lot of corporate politics that I didn't want to play anymore. And the big one for me, I found out that I got an exceeds expectations. I got the highest thing you can get in my performance review. And they're like, but we can only give you a 2% raise. I said, okay, whatever. I just backed off. I was like 23 at the time. But then I found out that they purchased a beanbag for the office that cost more than my yearly salary increase. So I'm like, oh, you guys had the budget. You just didn't want to spend it on me. Right. So it was like kind of an eye-opening moment in how corporate sometimes treats people. And that's, I think, one of the things I've brought with me is like, allowing not only myself autonomy, allowing my team to be able to fluctuate and have ideas and run with things and always just treat people with respect. That was the biggest thing for me that I couldn't leave, or I had to leave corporate, and I brought it with me. I'm like, the respect thing was huge for me.
For sure. No, I agree. Our motto is we don't use people to make money. We use money to build people.
Exactly.
And, the thing is, it's when in corporate, it's someone else's business. It's someone else's brand. They can do whatever they want to do. It's interesting to me that I watched people stay in not even just corporate, because I'm not knocking somebody getting their bag. Do your thing.
Absolutely.
But if you're driven to be creative, if you're driven to get things out of life and really follow your calling, and it's not in that, and you just stay there because you're afraid and you don't want to take the steps to do that, that's where it comes hard. And that's where I want to kind of transition and ask you. Before I do that, I want to ask you this question. If we were to take the best version, the best part of Amber Figlow, put you in a bottle and sell you on the shelves at Amazon, what are we selling?
This is where I'm a very type A person. I blend the creativity along with a lot of organization and systems. I would be the best daily planner journal, like, those paper notebooks. Don't get me wrong, I love technology, but if I had to package myself and put myself on the shelves of Amazon, I'd be the perfect daily planner and journal. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so in that daily planner or journal, listen, if you launch that, I want 6%. No, I'm joking.
Absolutely.
In your perfect daily planner or journal, do you have the date? Like, what are you encouraging people to put in it?
So again, I love mirroring the left side and the right side of my brain. I love having the creativity along with the analytics. So like on the left side, I see myself building out the to-do list, the meetings, the agendas, the very structured, rigid like kind of side of things. And then on the right side, I'd want the inspiration, the motivation, giving you areas to write affirmations and things like that. So I love the idea of mirroring them. And I'm like, I've never found a journal that does both or a planner that does both for me.
Okay. Love it. So talk to me about what you're doing today. You're in the social media world. You're helping people scale. How does your left brain and your right brain right now help your people win?
Yeah, absolutely. So from that corporate marketing background, I actually had a boutique social media agency for quite a bit. I did leave that world behind because running an agency is a lot of work that I didn't want to do anymore. And I started following and kind of finding myself back in the corporate space. And I was like, no, let's not do that. So just to let people know, I do have a personal brand now. So my target is to help other small business owners through my digital products, coaching, that kind of thing. The way that I approach content creation, though, is that I want to give small business owners a system and a strategy and an approach so that it's not overwhelming. So there are so many people in marketing right now that will show you the cool video edits. They'll show you what hook to use, how to structure your Instagram stories, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I want to give you the planning tools and the system so that you can show up, be efficient, do what you need to do, but then go back to doing what you love. Because as important as content creation is, most small business owners don't need to be content creators.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be able to market their business, get their story out there like you do so well, and then move on with their day. Get back to the client work, get back to fulfilling orders, doing whatever it is that you love to do, and not having to do content creation all day long.
Yeah, no, when we had our pre-convo, what I really loved is that I asked you, I was like, Amber, what's your stack? And you were like, at one point you were making 30 to 50K doing something, and not that you're not doing that now, but you walked away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about when a person is spending time doing the wrong thing, especially for money, and not wanting to invest in themselves to do what they know that they're really called to do. What would you say about that?
Yeah, so that was me when I had the social media agency. I finally found myself at a level of success that most people dream of. And I walked away from a big amount of money. I don't make that much anymore. I'll be fully transparent, but I'm a lot happier with what I'm doing in my day-to-day now, because what happened with the social media agency, I started outsourcing my zone of genius. I had a team of people doing the content creation, doing the strategy, and I managed people. And I'm like, that is not who I do not like doing this. I said, I started dipping my toes back into the corporate waters. And I was like, was this a safety net? Was it a scarcity mindset? I think a little bit of all of the above. And I wasn't trusting myself. So I took the leap and I closed the agency down, and I have fully launched into my personal brand. And now I get to live in my zone of genius and outsource the stuff that I don't like doing. So yeah, it's a hard decision, but it is one of the best things I've ever done.
No, I mean, that's just brilliant. One of the things we teach in our mastermind in our community is why go outside to learn something new when you can find the thing that you're most inspired and you're great at, and you can develop it and scale that on a high level. Exactly. So talk to me. In order for you to do that, I know that you had to invest in yourself in some way, shape, or form, get coaches, learn how to grow. We've got a 2-day event coming up here in July 21st, 22nd. It's a live event. I'm teaching people personally how to turn their store into 6 and 7 figures. You're going to be promoting it to your community as well. And we've got a couple of guest speakers that are going to be doing some things on it. This is not even about my event right now, specifically in general, as much as understanding what it takes for a person to learn and grow something, to invest in themselves. I know it's when people hear invest, like, oh, here we go, they're selling something, instead of being like, if I empty my wallet, it will fill up my mind kind of mindset. So what was your mindset towards learning the skill set so you can then become who you are now in the space?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. When I made that transition, I invested into a mastermind, and that was the biggest trajectory. It was at a time when, again, income started dialing back and expenses started dialing up. And I was like, you know what?
Dialing
I have to, but I was like, I got to do this. I was like, I know personally, yes, I could go search for the information out on the internet. It will be available to me, but do I want to spend the next year learning, or do I want to take the next 3 months in this mastermind implementing, growing a community? And I think the biggest part, don't get me wrong, all the knowledge that I learned in that mastermind was brilliant. I will never find that anywhere else. But it was the community. It was the other, I was in a women-based group. It was the other women I met. We network to this day. We send each other referrals. Like, just that in and of itself was so worth it. So sometimes you got to take the chance, and the scary investments are the ones that pay off, for me, at least.
Yeah. Well, honestly, you know, our community, that like I completely wholeheartedly believe in that, because I come from the network marketing background. I'm not currently building a network marketing company, but I learned so much. And there's things like anything I didn't like about it, but there were things that I learned. And one of them was the importance of community. Willpower will never outdo the power of a strong community. You need other people to hear their testimonies, to get around people. And especially in a world, even we work in the social media space, it could be so desensitive and lack authenticity.
Yep.
So I want to take a moment to talk about this 2-day event that's coming up, where we're going to teach people. I know you haven't been on it yet. I hope you come one day. But we're teaching people how to turn their story into 6 and 7 figures. Building your businesses online, what would you say the importance of knowing your story well and how to implement it in your content? What's the importance of that?
So for me, it's the one thing that I always really, really try and tell business owners is that you are going to always have competitors doing the exact same thing, selling the exact same thing, doing everything down to maybe the most minute detail is exactly the same as what you're doing. But the only difference, the one differentiator is you. Like, you are the one thing that's unique, and that's what's going to make you stand out. It's going to be one of those things. It's going to attract the people that you want to attract, and it might repel some of the people that you might not actually want to work with, and that's okay. But knowing your story, knowing your background, and injecting it into your content is the fastest way to authenticity. And it's not just a buzzword. It's one of those things, just showing up as you are, who you are, and your background.
100%. And I think you do that really well, and I'm excited about it. So, you know, Amber, we're going to wrap this up. I want to honor your time. I pray you guys got value. Let us know in the comments and the chats. First of all, really quickly, where could people find you if they want to learn a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. So you guys can find me on vast majority of social media platforms, Amber Figlow. The only one I don't do is Twitter, X. That's the platform I'm not on. But then you can also go to amberfiglow.com. I have blogs. I have all kinds of good resources for you there, freebies and things like that. So yeah, just Amber Figlow.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much. One little tip to help somebody grow before you go on social media.
I think the biggest thing right now, we're seeing a lot of shifts in social media. And the more that you can put yourself out online, your true self, your authentic self, this is even something I'm exploring every single day, is what's going to give you the growth, is just showing who the real you is.
I love it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know we were on a call, guys, and I was like, where are you from? And I don't know. I look at Amber. I thought she was going to say like Wisconsin or Denver. She's like, I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm like, what? We could have got coffee.
I know. I was like, we could have done this podcast in person.
We could have done it live. Maybe we should, you know.
We should.
But, one reason why they should come to the event and come see us live, me live. You won't be on it physically. You'll be on it virtually after on the 21st and 22nd.
So I think not only what I'm going to teach, but again, the community aspect in the chat. I'm telling you, you're going to network with people, connect with people. I'm going to teach you the foundation of a content system, and there's going to be so many other great speakers there. And again, it's show up to the live 2-day event. You won't be able to get this kind of knowledge in such a short amount of time, and you guys just got to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. She's right. We're going to knock out of the park. We've been doing the events like this for about 4 years now. We've had hundreds of people come through, but I've actually got something new. This is actually one of my favorite times of the year because it'll be almost in the middle. It'll be July, right? You know, and the end of the third quarter is going to be September 30th. I'm just telling you right now, like I said, there's 2,208 hours from this very moment to the end of September 30th. If you show up to this 2-day event, we're going to give you step-by-step process on how you can take that short period of time to implement it. So in the next 8,760 hours, your life can change. I'm not promising you that life is going to be out of this world, you've got to show up and be ready to do things on a high level. So if you want to come to this event, I've put it in the chat. If Amber's going to promote it to her people personally, but we're so grateful and excited that you're going to be here. Hey, DM me Icon, and I will send you the link personally as well. I got a free giveaway for anyone that DMs me on Instagram or Facebook. Icon, I'm going to give that to you, and if you register today. So we thank you so much. We're going to tune out of here. Welcome to BeICONIC Conversations again. Amber, we thank you, and God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.